Hello everyone, we have 1 minute, then please wait for a while. Okay then, now switch up. Let's begin today's one. What the master says on the matter of the world through the latest lecture that is titled Be Independent and Strong. Some people might come, but let's start. Hello everyone, now we will start reciting the true words spoken by Buddha. The true words spoken by Buddha, Yuho Okama. They are used to be the light in the great universe. The light is the energy of Buddha. People can live by this energy. And the Buddha's energy has made human history. It will be supplied eternally. This eternal light comes from heaven and prevails on earth. This is the light of heaven. Through the prism of Buddha, there appear the 7 colors of rainbow, arching over in the sky. Here you can see Buddha's mercy. Yellow is the color of teaching. White is the color of saving. Red is the color of justice. Purple is the color of obedience. Blue is the color of thinking. Green is the color of harmony. Silver is the color of progress. These 7 colors help each other, and their appearance Buddhaland. Buddhaland is shining brightly because of gathering of bodhisattvas. This is the land of love or the land of mercy. This is the land of wisdom or the land of teaching. Especially, this is the land of souls rest in peace. Their souls are the children of Buddha. The children of Buddha became real human beings. Real human beings have spirituality. The spirits are immortal powers. Such spirits are immortal forces. The spirits are real entities. The physical bodies are the shadows of the spirits. It means you are the boat sailing down the great river. The great river is a symbol of the course of life. Each of you sails down as a small boat, so you need a boatman. If it are not for your own boatman, you surely go aground. This boatman really means your mind. If your mind makes a mistake, the boat breaks into pieces by a large rock, and you also need a bamboo pole. This pole is the meaning of the true words. When you go down a rapid stream, you need to plant in the stream. Then you can change your course. The true words mean the teaching of Buddha. Buddha enlightened and spoke the true words, and the Buddha's teaching became a gold mine. These gold mines suggest various teachings. These are another expression of Buddha's truth. It brightens up your days. Or to put it another way, the fruits of Buddha's mercy. All of you, now here listen to me. Never lose your way, now and forever. The guiding hand has already waved. Please follow this white hand and go straightly on and on. Your lives are not limited to this world only. They have three aspects: the past, the present, the future. Your past have already gone by, yet still your mistakes will be kept in your mind. That is the reason why you should understand other people, and you yourself should reflect on what you have done. You and others are not different. On the contrary, both the children of Buddha and the brothers and sisters. Now then, love each other. Let us bring up each other, and it's time to forgive each other. This is eternal law, which penetrates the present and the future. Yes, indeed, the light of the dark night. The dark night of this world is hell. It is also the same in another one. Since we came down to this world, the sun of the truth is scheduled to rise. Now we are watching rising sun. It will shed light to the future, to invite such people to Buddhaland. Now here I command. There shall not be conflict in this world. There shall not be distrust in this world. There shall not be crime in this world. There shall not be evil spirit in this world. There shall not be the devil in the next world. Only the ideal world. Utopia shall be realized. All of the people love each other, live harmoniously, believe in one another. The world is utopia. All of us could be the light of bodhisattvas. Believing that light has reality. Believing that love has reality. Believing that the truth has reality. These are the facts that should be conveyed. We, the light of bodhisattvas, get together, work together to keep right mind and live in tune with Buddha's words. Here we bow to do so. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. And then, hello everyone. How are you doing? So today, maybe some of you already watched this one, but some of you maybe don't understand what's happening. So that's why I will tell you what's the intention of Masaru Okawa, his words, when he made this lecture, 7th July, last Thursday. So you can understand more like a profound meaning of the lecture. Then you can feel the real vibration, how much he loves everyone. So let's watch it. And then at that time, 7th July, this is this was happening in Japan. So 10th July Sunday, Japanese people have an election for the for the uh, parliament members, and they elected. And then, of course, we Happiness Realization Party, established by Masaru Okawa, also joined that election. And then we had some candidates. That's why very sensitive moment at that time. And that's why Masaru Okawa, carefully stated his words, but analyzed everything without saying, please support the Happiness Realization Party. He didn't say that. But everyone can realize what is a good choice for Japanese people. So, but anyway, that is a behind the scene. But anyway, first of all, we will dedicate our love and gratitude to the Lord.
仕事。自分が法であったとして、仏法をそうというけども、ブッダとは何かというと、法で、ブッダが法である。ブッダは自分の法を見る。法を見るのがブッダと言われている。だからブッダそのものを捕まえて、ブッダを持ったのをブッダと言って、ブッダは法を見れば、そのブッダの法が実はブッダそのもの。法を見るのはブッダを見るのは法ということで、ブッダの方からブッダとは何かを知らなければ。ですから、あなた方にどこ法の信仰とは何かというと、すべての道を秘密まで迫りつつも、皆様だけ経済がある例、そして今どこにいるのかということを知らしめるところまで低く教えです。それを解けるのは人しかいません。それをエルカンタルというので今言っています。そのただ人しか解けないエルカンタルをエルカンタルとエルカンタルの方とエルカンタルの方を統合していこうとしている手段、そんなに対する経営のことを申します。それは経営しないことに学ぶことができないものなんです。このような学校で全く教えてくれない。この学者は教えてくれない。他の宗教を学ぶことができないんです。ましてやテクノロジーの進化によってそれが解明されることはありえないんです。絶対ないんです。年会はこれを利便性を増すことができる。もちろん日本語は絶対にこれは信仰のみによって知ることができるものなんです。
Okay, I already separated this lecture 7 parts then. And then first one titled, we need to combine the religious enlightenment and the scientific truth. So we happy science don't deny the scientific truth because it's very convenient. But if you think the scientific truth is the only truth, that is wrong. That sometimes people try to separate the scientific truth, religious truth, but it's not a good idea. We can combine both religious truth and scientific truth because we should be very, very humble. Still, even now, we don't know exactly the universe and all the truth. People might think everything everything exists between from microscope to telescope. These are the facts, but beyond those things, there exists something great. So we call it sometimes God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you call. The creator is one. Then through the scientific way, we pursue the existence called God or Buddha, Allah. That is same existence. So please listen to his statement around. Okay, and then I will tell you what is that. Page number 2 and 3. Okay, so please read that. Column number 4, 6, 7.
Many people are here today. Thank you all for coming. This year we managed to book Saitama Super Arena on July 7th, exactly on my birthday. It's normally difficult, so I guess we have the coronavirus to thank for that. We're grateful for this. The seventh wave of COVID is said to have begun. But like I've said, the pandemic will last another 2.5 years, so please accept this fate. But I don't think many people will become critically ill and die from it. So please have an unshakable faith and keep on making diligent effort. We're not going to lose against a mere virus. Some folks are strongly believe in this. I've thoroughly investigated the cause of the virus. But the world doesn't accept it and support us, so it hasn't borne fruits yet. Bad events will still continue around the world. I'm sure during this decade of the 2020s, we will achieve great victory. We are now in the middle of our fight. I have been working for many years now. So far, we've become the largest religion among those that started after World War II in Japan. And we're gaining international recognition. Even so, we still haven't reached our true mission. One of the reasons for this is that the values that are widely accepted in the world are quite far from the truth. So even if I dispatch various teachings to the world, there still aren't enough people who open-heartedly accept and spread them. Take, for example, my early books such as The Laws of Success, An Unshakable Mind, and Invincible Thinking. In Kenya, Africa, the government officially adopted them as supplementary textbooks for schools. They made such a decision based on the contents of the books. Thank you very much. Kenyans decided to teach the laws of success, invincible thinking, and an unshakable mind to their children in their school education. They had never met me or heard much about me. They just read the books and felt that they would be of great benefit to children's lives if they read them while in school. This is just like when Japan became more westernized in the late 1800s thanks to books. Like self-help and Yukichi Fukuzawa's encouragement to learning. Similarly, there are countries that use my books to change their nation. However, here in Japan and the West, which consists of mainly Christian countries into which Japan belongs, people are still highly influenced by established values. What's more, those established values are rapidly headed in the wrong direction. In such a trend, many excellent brains are getting wasted. It's a shame. Let me put it another way. The fundamental beliefs and values of a country will always be reflected in its school system. The journalism is researched scientifically, and not everything can be clarified through it.
記されることはあろうとは思いますが、それ
It
で
is unfortunate that people do not realize such a simple truth.
そのぐらいのことに気がつかないということは残念なところです。教育
It
し、
is unfortunate
選ばれし人々、物も
that the well-educated and chosen people are only focused on materialistic research and its concrete applications.
必要を考えることに終始しているということは残念な
They probably think what is not materialistic is not scientific, and it will not lead to opening the space age. I want these people to read the novel, The Unknown Stigma, introduced earlier.
小説の中でしかない
It's a trilogy. The third book is about the universe.
その3人の中で
I only briefly touched on this, but I would like them to read it thoroughly.
さらっと書いてあります。
I wanted to read it because I briefly described the principles that enable UFOs to fly, as well as the principles that enable them to travel 2.3 million light years to arrive at Earth all the way from Andromeda Galaxy. It means it will take 2.3 million years at the speed of light. A living human wouldn't be able to make it, would they? It's impossible even with the use of fuel, nuclear power, or any other form of energy that exists on Earth. Ever since Einstein, it has been said that there is essentially nothing that can exceed the speed of light. So it is unimaginable that humanity could travel and bear the speed greater than that. Even the closest planet to us is around 4 light years away. I'm sure you've seen it in animated movies produced by Happy Science. It depicts space people coming to Earth from planet Moon, which is only 4 light years away. I say only 4 light years, but that's 4 years moving at the speed of light. So not a single vehicle on Earth can take us there and bring us back so easily. I described the way to transcend spatial distance and time in the novel, so please read it carefully. They don't use any machines, they don't use any fuel, they actually use another power. UFOs do not contain any machinery. What makes UFOs fly is enlightenment and willpower that you are now training. It's about understanding. Understanding the true nature of the universe. Understanding how our physical bodies are made. How living organisms are made. How the stars and planets in the universe are made. How galaxies are made. What God was thinking when He created it all. Awakening and understanding these things will become the power to transcend time and space. Those who are not awakened to this truth cannot travel through space. More than 10 years I have been telling you that various kinds of space people have come to Earth. I've never counted the exact number. According to our editorial division, more than 500 species have come to Earth so far. This many space people have reached a level high enough in their science and technology to come to Earth. Humanity isn't anywhere close to that yet. We have to go beyond it. And to achieve it, materialism is not what we need. It's not materialism. We need to combine religious enlightenment and scientific truth. Or rather, we need to realize that scientific truth is found in the religious truth. This is important. Japan launched a small rocket. It went to a tiny asteroid called Ryugu and brought back rock samples. If they had asked me, I could have brought some back and broken an eye. I'm just half joking. I can't bring back samples as a gift, but I am capable of going there and seeing it. Science has already reached its limit. To go farther, humanity needs to enter the world of enlightenment. We have to surpass that barrier. We absolutely must. We're able to launch rockets, satellites, and nuclear missiles. But to space people, these are all nothing more than children's water play. They're watching Earthens being crowded at such a level and thinking, they still have a long way to go. I wonder when they'll catch up to us. Or it may take more time for them to reach the standard level of the universe. I intend to teach the laws that will enable us to get that far. The situation on Earth is so far behind that I don't know if I can teach it at all. It's truly regrettable. I heard that HSU will be launching a rocket this year. It's of course better to launch one than to not, but we still have a long way to go. Sooner or later, they will learn to go there for free, if they study hard, of course. Such a time will come. I hope they will keep studying and learn what they learn with their enlightenment and reach the cutting edge of.
Okay, thank you. This is a very, very deep one. I will tell you some points about his statement, okay? Maybe it seems like just ordinary and just opinion, but his statement is very profound, each one of statement. For example, bad events will still continue around the world, but I'm sure this is a prediction. During this decade of the 2020s, I mean, within 8 or 9 years, everything will be settled. That's very, very strong and profound prediction, right? No one can predict like that. Within 10 years, everything will be settled. That is his prediction as a religious leader, founder of big group, which has 160 countries so far, and 11 million people already follow him. So this is his responsibility to say that. Just not an ordinary conversation. His prediction as a leader of 11 million people and 160 countries. So we will achieve great victory. This is also prediction. What is a victory? Now, people might say there is no such things like a faith or a God or Buddha, Allah, whatever. And then scientific way is the only way to understand everything. People become very conceited. But happy science seems like trying to against that currency. So what you don't know is wider, much wider than what you know. That's what we want to say. That's why we humankind should be more humble, right? Sometimes, like ant try to criticize sunshine, same as humankind, okay? Try to criticize God. God already dead, something like that. Very conceited. So that's why he tried to against such kind of currency. Also, in another lecture, he already predicted that the age of materialism will collapse sooner. That is another prediction by him. The age of materialism. What kind of age will come? He said that is eighth civilization. That is age of spirituality will come. That is, everyone can recognize 3 points. One, I am a spirit, not legs, not arms, not like a body, not a face. You are spirit. Spirit means energy, thinking energy. That is me. So that's the first point. The second point, we can recognize we are connected to each other from same root. That is second point. The third point of the age of spirituality is I am a part of God. Part of God. That is the third recognition we might have within this decade. Then if almost everyone, all people can recognize those 3 points, that is victory. That is victory. So we try to get a victory now through this activity. Then we are now in the middle of our fight against the materialism. So that's why, because if you accept that I am a body, I am legs, arms, and face and the body, like those things, or reaction of your body, that means you are same as animal. Yeah. And then always thinking of surviving. It's miserable. But humankind has a dignity. That is the recognition. That dignity comes from the recognition I am spirit. So created by God. That's why we need to be very humble. One of the reasons for this is that the values that are widely accepted in the world are quite far from the truth. So through scientific way, and very, very like the miserable, but many people already recognize I am body. That no spirit exists like that. That is wrong. So far from truth. Then materialism is researched scientifically. It's okay, but not everything can be clarified through it. Yes, still we have many things we don't know, but some people might think we already know that through microscope and the telescope. That is a wrong viewpoint because they are very conceited. They think we already beyond the God, creator, but it's not. Okay, this is humbleness is a keyword for next era. It is unfortunate that people don't realize such a simple truth. So the next one. Just I show you what he said. So what? Suddenly he mentioned about the UFOs. Because this is a typical example how far from the truth now humankind reach. So what makes UFOs fly is enlightenment and willpower that you are training. Not like an oil or a specific engine or something like that. Through your power of will and enlightenment, UFOs come from very far place, like Master says. You already realize that 2,030,000 light years far. Okay, you cannot imagine that. Even the light reaches to that place, 2,030,000 years. But those people means that aliens can come such far place using enlightenment and willpower that can beyond this physical distance. So it's about understanding. Understanding also another keyword of next era, because many conflicts in this world, right? Because of religion, because of different colors, skin color, language. To overcome those conflicts, we need to understand. Because you have hatred, anger, because you don't understand. But once you understand, you can overcome it. So The power of understanding is more than anything. Because when you understand others, you can love. Love is the strongest power in this universe. That's why beyond the distance, physical distance, we can go. Okay, then understanding the true nature of the universe, understanding how our physical bodies are made, how living organisms are made, how the stars and the planets in the universe are made, how galaxies are made, what God was thinking when He created it all. Awakening and understanding these things will become the power to transcend time and space. This is the conclusion, okay? He mentioned about a very, very profound system of the universe. Now people cannot understand. But sooner, as he said, within decades, we can accept those things, like beyond the limitation. And to achieve it, materialism is not what we need. Like between microscope and the telescope. Okay, we can beyond it. We need to combine religious enlightenment and the scientific truths. Scientific truths defined by scientific truths defined by Kant, who was in Germany, right? And he said 5 body senses: eyes, ears, mouth, and arms and legs. Those are 5 bodily senses, and also mind, reaction, and emotion. Those 5 bodily senses are everything. Others, we cannot analyze. That's why we need to disregard those things. But it doesn't mean there is no existence beyond the 5 bodily senses. That doesn't mean. That means we cannot analyze those things beyond the 5 bodily senses. He was very humble, but his disciples, the disciples of Kant, so misunderstood that point. Beyond the 5 bodily senses, there is no existence. This is a big mistake in the history. So beyond the 5 bodily senses, we have 6th sense, right? That is kind of the inspiration or a divine feeling, something like that. Everybody has, but we forgot because of science, education. So we need to combine religious enlightenment, that is 6th sense, and scientific truth, that is analyzed through 5 bodily senses. Or rather, we need to realize that the scientific truth is found in the religious truth, because, for example, like this way, there is truth. You can know. This is a scientific truth, okay? Then, the real truth is beyond that. You can watch, you can see, you can touch, you can listen, you can feel only distinctly through 5 bodily senses. But if you use a 6th sense or enlightenment, you can feel beyond that. This world, this unknown world, much wider than what you can know through 5 bodily senses, right? That's what Master wants to say. We need to be humble, and you need to have the attitude to explore more the world. But some people already become very conceited, proud too much. We all already knew everything through 5 bodily senses. No, nothing exists beyond that. 6th sense is a kind of mythology. So we need to ignore, disregard that. It's wrong. You need to be very, very humble, like this way. What you can know is much smaller than what you cannot know. Okay, just simple. So that's why I hope they will keep studying combine what they learn with their enlightenment and reach the cutting edge of the science. So now we can know what exists beyond the five bodily senses. That through scientific way. We don't deny scientific way, but if you say only through five bodily senses we can recognize everything, that is meaning of conceit. So that's why be careful about it. So anyway, then let's go to the next part, second part. Well, this is also a very difficult matter. Abortion. Maybe some of the ladies already experienced that, but we can learn from that. Okay. Please listen carefully what he says. So, whether abortion is right or not.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because I find it regrettable how, with the advancements of academic studies, those who have studied hard are moving closer to adopt materialism. As for religion, their foundation is still based on teachings from 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. And they don't have much trust in anything new, so there's no progress. That's why it's impossible for science and religion to progress together hand in hand. Take, for example, the recent case of the Supreme Court in the U.S. The country is now divided and is wavering over the decision of whether the abortion is right or not. Currently, the judges are enormously conservative when the decision was made to say that abortions are unconstitutional. This made the nation waver greatly, and President Biden called it a tragedy and a tragic ruling. If human rights protection means that mothers can do whatever they please with their bodies, then we could agree with his view. However, such a view does not consider the human rights of fetuses. Christianity does not clearly teach on this matter. They vaguely understand that a soul in heaven enters the baby. There aren't any clear teachings on this. It's not included in their basic teachings. People generally think that a sperm and an egg fuse together to become a tiny organism, and that once it develops to a human form enough to be born and lives as a human, abortion will become murder. Many people think that before that stage, abortion is allowed because it's not made a human. According to a spiritual investigation, the conclusion has been consistent. The soul in the spirit world enters the female's womb at 9 weeks of pregnancy. That's around the 3rd month of pregnancy. The mother notices she is pregnant. The soul is already there when she realizes she is pregnant. There are no exceptions to this. Souls cannot choose to enter the womb when they like. For example, at 6 months, 8 months, or some impatient ones at 4 weeks. It's not like that. Incidentally, the soul enters the womb at 9 weeks. The fetus inside the mother's body is still small, so it may not seem like a human, but it has a soul. In the spirit world, souls with an adult consciousness will first register themselves at a reincarnation center and decide where to be born. Then they change into a form that allows them to enter the womb and receive philosophical education to be born as a fetus. That's how they are born. No other religion teaches this. I have not heard many sufficient teachings of the soul at birth, or teachings of reincarnation in Islam either. Some Eastern religions teach this a little, so some people may have some understanding, but even so, it is unclear. In most cases, because of Christian influences, people just believe that souls will remain after death. They believe in the afterlife for humans and that they will either be doomed to hell for eternity or be led into heaven and be reborn from purgatory after repenting. I wonder if our interpreters can come up with the word purgatory correctly. But anyway, there are also people who will go straight to heaven. They said people will be divided in this way. I believe we need to teach this in greater detail. Even the world religions have not taught this enough.
Okay, thank you. Well, very simple truth. He didn't say right or wrong. Just say very simple truth. For example, here, take for example recent case of the Supreme Court in the U.S. and the country is now divided and wavering over the decision of whether abortion is right or not. That's what you already have it, right? You know that. Then Christianity doesn't clearly teach on this matter. That is a problem. They don't know the spiritual truth, where souls come from, and then when the souls be born in the mother's womb, and then they don't know exactly. And then I have not heard of any sufficient teachings of the soul at the birth or teachings of reincarnation in Islamism. Yeah, the majority of world religion, including the Buddhism and Japanese Shintoism, has never taught about it. Then, but he clearly said like this. According to my spiritual investigation, hello, Mr. Faroki. Are you okay? Please have a seat here or there. Okay. The conclusion, this is a strong word, conclusion. He knows the truth through the spiritual research. The conclusion has been consistent. The soul in the spirit world entered the female's womb at 9 weeks of pregnancy. This is an unshakable fact. This is a fact. Okay, and then there are no exceptions to this. He simply talked about the fact. He didn't say like whether it's wrong or right, but he said this is a fact. So after 9 months, even fetus become like very, very small. But already the soul exists in the fetus. This is the truth. Then whatever humankind judges right or wrong, this is a fact. In the spirit world, souls with an adult consciousness will first register themselves at the reincarnation center and decide where to be born. Actually, you planned which country you will be born, what kind of parents you will choose, and brothers, sisters, siblings. You yourself choose the circumstances. Then sometimes you may think, this is very hard, my circumstances. Yes, that's why you choose that. Because this is a training ground for yourself. Sometimes very severe situation can develop yourself. So that's why in the spirit world, you had a meeting with your guardian spirits and then discuss what is the best for you to train yourself. Training path. This is a training center. So that's why you cannot feel very comfortable. Sometimes very painful. And also like a muscle pain. Yeah. And then decide where to be born. Then they change into a form that allows them to enter the womb and receive the philosophical education to be born as a fetus. That's how they are born. This is the system. Very simply, he has taught very, very important information, just a few minutes. But if you want to know more about it, you can learn a lot from 3,000 books published by Masaru Okawa. Okay? Mothers have the human rights to please with their body, of course. At the same time, so fetus also have the human rights not to be killed. This is the conclusion. After 9 months, the soul will be born in the mother's womb as fetus. That is unchangeable fact. So regarding this, you can think of that. But even you had a mistakes, Heavenly World can prepare for specific. Well, maybe I put somewhere, but now it's second. Prayer number 2. I put somewhere. In that prayer number 2, we should I found it. Prayer number 2. Okay, there is a good prayer. It says, okay. No, prayer book number 1. Sorry. Number 1. It says, Buddha's teaching, Sutra for departed children. Then you can pray for those small souls to be peaceful, like this way. Oh, my dear little ones, are you still trembling even now in a cold, dark, or lonely world? Are you crying for your parents to help you, watching about in tears? But look now, the great Buddha is here. He's here to save you. If you dedicate this prayer with very loving mind, that's this what you have been thinking. What you are thinking now, a loving mind will reach him or her. This is a rule of the spirit world. What you can think can reach specific person. So that's why prayer is very important. So please remember, prayer is not like a pretend or a pretension. This is a real power. If you want to save someone, pray for him or her. That reaches that person and becomes a power to save. So that's why those teachings are needed in this world. Because no religion can teach these kind of things. Then they say just like for or against, like that. But it's not matter like a for or against. The matter of the fact, and then what you should do is pray. Okay? Because sometimes people make the mistakes, but there is a way to save those people who made a mistake. And this is a way, one of ways. Okay, this is one of big mistake, but you can be saved by prayer and the teaching of Master Ryo Okawa, spiritual truth. That's why we'd like to spread the truth as many as possible and work together to save the people. So, third part, please listen. All things are in the process of evolution in terms of their souls. There are also cases when human souls degrades. Are you scared? Okay, listen to that.
Frankly, in Japanese Shinto too, there's no clear distinction between heaven and hell. It's even unclear if hell exists or not if we look at their teachings. It almost seems like gods, hellish spirits, and monsters are all living together on the same plane. This is because they don't have a clear teaching on good and evil. Japanese Shinto doesn't clearly teach what is good and what is evil. That's why they are behind. They don't clearly teach good and evil. They also can't clearly distinguish humans and animals, plants, or other creatures. Some animals live near humans, such as pets, or a cat or livestock. These animals that observe people in their life have souls. They normally have souls and they observe people to study how they can be more like humans. But as for animals that don't live near people and are distant, their souls will be lower in quality. They will only be living creatures with basic emotions. There are many creatures that are at an even lower level of development. They are only endowed with a life energy that shows conditioned emotions. However, creatures that are of a certain size are endowed with a soul, that is of a primitive form. Even with fish, crabs, or shrimps, big ones have primitive form of the soul. I can see that they have some emotions to sense their likes and dislikes, or good things and bad things to some extent. So what things are in the process of evolution in terms of their souls? There are also cases when human souls degrade. Some souls can be judged to be unworthy to continue reincarnating as humans. They are told to experience being an animal as an experiment. They are in what's called the hell of beasts, or the animal world. Some souls reach a level where they can no longer be allowed to reincarnate as a human. These souls do not just live in a place called the hell of beasts. There are cases when human souls are made to go inside animals' bodies by dint of some power. There is hope. Their lives on earth will be short. Many animals only live for a year or two, or maybe 5 or 10 years, so such an experience will last just a few years. Once they are born as animals, they will come to understand how fortunate it was to be born as a human. The first time they will realize how fortunate it was to be able to speak, how fortunate it was to be able to move around freely. They will deeply feel in their hearts how fortunate it was to have a family and live as a member of society, and to be able to contribute to the world. Such a system still exists, and the number of souls are now slightly increasing. Please know that. Don't believe that you, who have come to hear my lecture at Saitama Super Arena, will end up reincarnating as animals in the next life. I'm sure you won't, but just in case, please don't hold on to today's pamphlets when you are cremated. And say, I heard Robo Kawa's lecture at Saitama Super Arena. Can't you see how faithful I am? Negotiate as such with Emma, the special judge of hell. Perhaps we will take that into consideration. Nowadays, we have a closer relationship with him, and we often keep in touch. Please declare that you are at Saitama Super Arena, or how many times you've heard my lectures on satellite broadcast. I'll ask him to make some allowances. On the other hand, those who will give me happy science books, but rejected them a number of times, might be doomed. Their confession may well be out of the question. Such a simple religious view is truly basic knowledge and a matter of course in happy science. This simple religious truth can influence the ruling of the Supreme Court of the U.S. And it is where the Republicans and Democrats disagree.
So, even the very small talk, like 5 minutes, but there are many points we can learn a lot about spiritual truth, whether he researched, which he researched, and then Japanese Shinto also don't know anything. They cannot distinguish between the heaven and the hell or something like that. But conclusion is animals that observe people and their life have souls. Okay, even those animals have souls because their spirits are also creature and created by God. Okay, that is different from like Old Testament, other religious books. Okay, clearly she said that even the animal souls are created by God. So creatures they are. And then they observe people to study how they can be more like humans. Like still, even those animals study, learn. So that is like every single being have a will to develop. That is the evidence they are created. And then, but as for animals that don't live near people and are distant, their soul will be lower in quality. But he never said they don't have soul. Even the small creature has souls. And they will only be living creature with basic emotions, although they have primitive forms of the souls.
That's
Yes.
multigrade.
Huh?
Is that what you mean by degrade?
Multigrade?
Is that what you mean by degrade?
Not degrade. Like degrade means I will tell you later. Okay. This is like a explanation. Every single beings have a souls, even that is a lower or just a reaction, but they have souls. And then on the way to develop themselves to be greater and greater. Okay. So all things. This is a very important conclusion. All things are in the process of evolution in terms of their souls. All creatures, without exception. Okay, that's why we need take care of them. Okay, so very important point. But sometimes people might think like even the vegetable have souls. Yes, they have. And vegetarian, we can respect those vegetarians, but sometimes vegetarian are misunderstood because the vegetable has no soul. But actually, regarding his idea, even the vegetable has a soul. So that's why whenever you have food, you need to dedicate your appreciation to those dedicate their lives for the humankind. A thank you or something like that. In Japanese, we always say itadakimasu. Itadakimasu means I really appreciate your dedication. So we Japanese traditionally dedicate our love and gratitude to all existence who sacrifice themselves. That means itadakimasu. So this is a way we need to think. And then, as Anna says, there is another way. There are also cases when human souls degrade. Right? Be careful about it because some people think I am a body, and then desire, emotion, my reaction. Then that's why. What's wrong? Why I become like very emotional or controlled by desire, worldly desires? What's wrong like that? It's wrong. Some souls reach a level where they can no longer be allowed to reincarnate as a human. Difference between humankind and animals. Where is that? What is that? Humankind, at least, try to control their desires and be a lord of the mind. Try to be a lord of the mind. That is a human's dignity. But animals sometimes react very directly to survive. They always have fear inside, cold, death. They always afraid of death. So that's why they think of surviving always. But unfortunately, in modern society, even if they are very like rich or wealthy, they always think surviving only. No think of others' happiness, no contribution at all. That is same as animal. That's why even if you you have never committed like bad things, but if you are well thinking occupied by only surviving or controlled by desire or emotion, you can be animal. But master says 1 out of 10,000, very rare case, who cannot reflect. They always I am right, others wrong, like that. So then controlled by emotion or desire, they can be like animal souls. So some souls reach a level where they can no longer be allowed to reincarnate as a human. If you lost the dignity as humankind, that is possibility. But please don't afraid of that. 1 of 10,000. And then these souls don't just live in the place called the hell of beasts. There are cases where human souls are made to go inside animals' bodies by dint of some power, like forced to be reincarnated as dog or cat or something like that. So then, this is the education. Once they are born as animal, they will come to understand how fortunate it was to be born as a human, right? Humankind enjoy conversation, even you argue with others, but that's fortunate. You can exchange your ideas with others, but animals cannot do it. And then such a system still exists, and the number of such souls are now slightly increasing because many people think like a human is just one of animals. Okay, there is no existence such as God or faith. Please know that. Such a simple religious view is truly basic knowledge and a matter, of course, in happy science. But this simple religious truth can influence the ruling the Supreme Court of the U.S., also this country, and it is where the Republican and the Democrats agree or disagree, like conservative and the Labour Party, right? And this is a very, very important truth. You can admit the invisible power that is like love, courage, faith, God. Those are invisible power you can admit. Then you can say, I am a human. But if you say, I am a desire itself, why not? That is same as animal, right? No dignity at all. So be careful about it. This is the second and the third part. Okay? Very simple, but very profound. You can understand now. Okay? So then, there are many points actually. Just 40 minutes he made this speech. In the 40 minutes, many points. The next one is said to be the ruling on an LGBTQ issue. Wow, I don't want to tell that, but listen to that. And we have to face up the reality, what's happening now.
Next one is said to be a ruling on an LGBTQ issue. Ruling whether same-sex marriage is constitutional or unconstitutional is being anticipated in the U.S. Right now, people on the Democratic side, including Mr. Biden, are working very hard to spread LGBTQ across the world. It is already spreading in Japan, too. People are fearing that the U.S. Supreme Court might rule it as unconstitutional. I was putting off making decisions on it because there weren't any sample cases. LGBTQ is up to the individual's freedom. It makes them happy, and it may be one way to live. I needed to wait for more people to die to see where they would go. Maybe inappropriate to say this, but I needed more sample cases of the LGBTQ people who went to the other world to decide whether it is right or wrong. That's why I didn't speak clearly about it. When I went to Canada to give a lecture, I visited a monument the pioneer of homosexual movements. After I got back to the hotel that day, a person's spirit visited me and recorded his spiritual message. The spirit of the man I didn't really know the name of came to me. It was learned that there was such a man but has now fallen to hell. So during the Q&A session after my lecture in Canada, I mentioned in English for the first time about the high chance of LGBTQ people going to hell. I heard one of the audiences was shocked and said, I need to warn my grandchildren about this, so people don't know what would happen to them. Of course, freedom is good, but social responsibilities will usually follow freedom. You can live freely as long as you can take responsibilities for your actions. In this world, there are laws and people can live freely as long as they don't go against them. When you drive a car, for example, as long as you drive within a speed limit set by the law and follow other traffic rules, you are free to drive how you want. However, if you violate the rules, you may cause an accident and put others in danger. As a consequence, you may be imposed additional limitations for violating the limits of your freedom. There are certain matters that even the U.S. President or the Supreme Court don't know. These are the things that only religious leaders can teach. So while I'm grateful that the opinions I voice have a certain level of influence, I wish it can reach more people. It is my wish that my thoughts can have much more say in the world. I myself believe that it is better for the Western-style democratic system and ideologies to prevail during this century and the next. It's of course welcoming. This doesn't mean that all of our ideas are right, so it's dangerous. To be more specific, I believe I must speak out against matters that are likely to drag people in the direction of hell.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe you feel something shock, and I will tell you what is the matter. Conclusions here, okay? He always says it is wrong, it is right, like that. He didn't say like that. He always says spiritual truths only. Then you can judge whether it's wrong or right. Okay, so that is the way to educate the people. So on the LGBTQ issue, that is famous. And even the last month, I saw the big parade for the people who support LGBTQ. And then, this is the official announcement from Happy Science. We don't want to oppress those people, very minority people who feel the love to the same gender. Okay, that's their choice. But Master says in another lecture, motivation is everything. For example, you know Oscar Wilde, who wrote a beautiful novel, but prisoned by homosexual, right? Prisoned because of the homosexual, like I think 19th century, like that. Then, but he's exceptional. He went back to the heavenly world, higher spirits. I was very surprised. He is in the 8th dimensional world of Tathagata, Oscar Wilde. But he loves a boy. Then, that is an exception. So, but high chance of LGBT people going to hell. He said in 2019, even if he knows that, he revealed the fact. Oscar Wilde, who loved the boy, but he went back to heaven. But at the same time, he said, high chance of LGBTQ people going to hell. What does it mean? Motivation is everything. In the case of Oscar Wilde, he loves that boy, with very pure love,
Right.
innocent love, and from the bottom of his heart. But unfortunately, for example, the like scientific research says, natural born, they feel like I am, I should be like opposite sex, opposite gender. Totally, I heard one of 50,000 people feels like that. Very rare case. Or sometimes one of 30,000 people can feel that. Master Okawa telling the secret why those people feel like that. I should have been the opposite gender, but now I am a male, but I should be a female. That feeling comes from the wrong choice. He or she planned the heavenly world. Next time I will born as a female because my soul is a female. Then she tried to come this world, but wrongly she made a mistake.
Okay.
Choose the body wrongly. Wrongly, some
So they-
mistake.
Yeah, so
So
that individual made a mistake.
yeah, made mistake. Then she's like this. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I am male now. That is like wrong, the mistake. But chances are 2 or 3 of 10,000 something like that. Others also, the scientific research says nowadays almost 10% of people likes same gender love, same gender sex
Right.
because of
Curiosity.
and or try to taste another physical pleasure, right? And they are bored to have a good relationship with the opposite gender.
Right.
But bored.
I thought Master said that we choose our gender clearly before we come to Earth.
Yep.
But sometimes, for example, if I was always born someone was always born female,
Mm.
and they chose and agreed in heaven to be born as male for this lifetime, but because most of their class is female, they have strong feminine.
Yeah.
So they found that they was attracted to
If
the same
she,
gender in that situation, but
Yeah.
not because they made a mistake as such. They agreed before they came to
Yes.
heaven what
Yeah.
gender they would be.
If- In the case of that, if already she decided next time I will born as a male, then she has a strong will and motivation. That can support her. And then even if she got a male body this time, this is my choice because her memory of the soul, like remember that, okay, clearly remember that becomes like subconscious memory. That's supporting. Okay, that's why even if she becomes a male this time, but that is your choice. Remember, that's why no dangerously coming up. But in the case, she tried to come here as female, and she thought this is the body of female, but that was wrong. In that case, some tragedy happened. Because
maybe she forgot that she
Forgot,
chose to be
or
born
forgot.
as a male
Mm.
and has a strong tendency to be born as female. And
Mm.
it's kind of struggling.
yeah, struggling will happen. So that's why motivation is everything. And also we support you, strong will support you. That's why in the heaven, they promise with guardian spirit, are you okay? Because you've never experienced a males ever, never. So and then she said, yes, okay, I can do it. Like that. So and then she can support by her decision, her own decision. But if you don't do that, you didn't do that, so you are suffering already. Why I am male? Because subconscious can say same thing. Subconscious is everything, okay?
Okay, but on the other hand,
Mm.
as a gay person,
Gay person, yeah,
if their intention is pure,
pure.
then it's okay.
Well, yes,
Okay.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
Mhm,
As long as there's not curiosity
No.
or lust.
mhm.
Right.
As long as they have no lust and or curiosity about opposite sex, physical curiosity,
Right.
that's okay. Pure
Okay.
heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, because for example, sometimes if you see even the female, if you see the beautiful pure mindset girl,
Yeah.
you can love her, right? Without like a physical touch. So that is also allowance. But anyway, so pure heart and motivation is everything. So as a consequence, you may be imposed additional limitations for violating the limits of your freedom. What does it mean? Limitation. What is a rule? Rule. Violent rule. No one can allow drag someone into hell. No one can have right to drag others into hell. Involve the, like a physical curiosity or lust. Okay, why don't you enjoy your life? If you say like that, that means violence. Okay, so that's why he gave us a warning. You can live freely as long as you can take responsibilities for your actions. If you violate the rules, you may cause an accident and put others in danger. So you can enjoy your life because you can take responsibility. Whether you can go to hell, it's up to you. You enjoy the life of hell. But if you involve others,
Yeah.
like recommend, why don't you
Encourage.
enjoy life? Yes, lust. Lust is not so bad because it's pleasure. That's also given by God. Why don't you enjoy it like that? Then that more sin or more dangerous situation will come to you. That is warnings from him, like big action. So, and then that's why we need some limitations. And then these are because in that case you cannot take responsibility, right? So you can get some warnings and or ticket for accidents. So these are the things that only religious leaders can teach. Of course, then even the professor in university cannot teach, or judge in the court cannot teach you that. Only religious people can teach that. And to be more specific, I believe I must speak out against the matters that are likely to drag people in the direction of hell. I don't think I can. I need to explain.
Yeah, you already
Okay,
Yeah.
I already did. Okay, you understand?
Yeah.
Then going to the next step. Number 4. So very profound, right? Even the very small speech, but the profound meaning inside. That is the master teaching we published 3,000. So number 5. There is a war between Ukraine and Russia. This is also like a controversial. So
Yeah.
challenge for me to explain it. Maybe because the ordinary people think that Ukraine is a hero, Russia is bad, like that. So typical reaction I can see, but yes, with courage I can explain it.
Right now, there's a war between Ukraine and Russia. It's loathsome. No religious leader welcomes people to die at war. It is terrible to hear about tens of thousands of people losing their lives. I'm sure the war zone is like the hell of strife, and the dead cannot probably return to heaven so easily under such circumstances. They're going to be tough for them. This is certainly true from one perspective. I don't think there are any religious leaders who love wars and encourages them. I also wish for no war. However, there is another value judgment, and I do believe I have to speak about world justice. Or the ways of thinking that should guide the world from now on. From the outset, most media have been saying that Russia invaded Ukraine one-sidedly. So Russia is on the bad side, while Ukraine is on the good. They kept on reporting how we had to help Ukraine and how the world was moving in that direction. Now, after 4 months have passed, the reports are starting to change. We wonder how long the situation will continue, using the expression Ukraine fatigue. I think it is an interesting use of words, Ukraine fatigue. I think we're getting enough of the situation and feeling tired. We want to stop it by now. This is probably what they wanted to express. There are many ways to express the situation. We would usually agree that justice is to help the weak when the weak is abused by the strong. This is true in general. However, in the case of Ukrainian President Zelensky, it's a little different. The majority of people seem to treat him like a hero. He support his actions of making appearances to various world conferences via video calls. Then what about Africa, some Asian regions, and Latin America? And there is NATO, led by the US. NATO is not the same as EU. NATO stands for North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was established as the collective defense against the Soviet Union's Warsaw Pact's military forces. This means when the Soviet Union collapsed, NATO should have dissolved as well. But even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, NATO continues to grow to this date, and even tries to expand further. So President Putin expressed his concerns and warned them that Russia will take action if its expansion continues. We'll not get into details here, as I've already published various books on this matter. Many people may not understand by going into too much detail. But honestly speaking, I don't think President Putin has gone insane. He's thinking very logically and rationally. Since he has less time to go outside and exercise, he may not appear as fit as he used to be, but he is mentally still fit. It's clearly Mr. Biden, who might be a bit senile. His guardian spirit is beginning with a little sanity, too, so I'm afraid of what he might do. Mr. Zelensky is not senile, but his intellectual level might be questionable, not sufficient. As a comedian, he played the role of president, and then he was actually elected as president. Such shallowness of the nation is a little disappointing. We have a few Japanese actors who play the role of a prime minister. There would be trouble if any of them became our actual prime minister. They can act like one because they have a script. Without it, they cannot bear the responsibilities for their decision making. This is the concerning point. Mr. Zelensky probably believes that what gains more media coverage and audience ratings is right and accords with justice. This may be right according to business and mass media, but it is different from true justice. I've never heard Mr. Zelensky talk about God, faith, or prayers. Similarly, Mr. Biden talks about fighting for democracy. But he never mentions faith in God, which is the foundation of democracy. We have asked his guardian spirit, whom he shares close connections with, in the spirit world. And it's clear that he is not connected to any of the spiritual beings whom we call angels, bodhisattvas, tathagatas, or yet higher beings in the Savior's world. So we probably believe that justice is what is supported by the general people. He is at such a level. So I believe we must not expect much of him. Some many believe that justice is what is supported by the main media. Just like the election, the media tend to support whatever they think the majority will easily understand and agree to. You do not consider God's will at all.
真理と考えて全く
They don't think about it. This is a big problem.
Okay, thank you. This is a big problem. Yeah. So there are many points also. Just 5 minutes, but I made 3 slides for this explanation, and then because it contains very important points to understand the situation. Basically, we European people brainwashed by mass media and lefty ones, and then please just see everything through your pure eyes, okay, without any prejudice. This is very important. Pure eyes means spiritual eyes. So right now there is a war between Ukraine and Russia, and And I have to speak about world justice or the ways of thinking that should guide the world from now on. So he has given us a guidance, but give you some hints or clues. But even this matter, he didn't say like a conclusion, but he provided some materials you can think of, ponder on. So please think carefully. Then the majority of people seems to treat Ukraine President Zelensky like a hero. Yeah, that's now happened. Then what about Africa, some Asian regions and Latin America? What is the discussion? What do you think? Then what about Africa, some Asian regions and Latin America? Those countries support Russia, Putin. Why they supported Putin? Because they want oil, gas? No. They supported Putin because they know that the rule of US, rule of Europe, not like eternal truth. So NATO and those countries have a strong will to make Soviet Union collapse. That's why they created NATO, that is military organization. Then even now, the country changed the name from Soviet Union into Russia. Still, NATO countries thinks Russia as potential enemy, same as US. Okay, those countries, Africa, Asian regions, and the Latin American people, very neutral. That's why they can know what's behind the scene. NATO have a strong will to destroy Russia. That's why when Obama administration US, Obama has a secret strategy to destroy Ukraine. At that time, people choose through the election pro-Russia president. But coup has happened in 2014. Then suddenly, by military action, pro-Russian president kicked out from Ukraine. And the new president, supported by military, become the new president who supports Western countries. That's happened. Then, since then, Ukraine oppressed the people who come from Russia, who lived in the Ukraine very much. They have a community, the east side of Ukraine and the northern side of Ukraine. Then even air attacks they did. Those people and the community, the Russian people. That's a fact. You can research. So, and also last year NATO plan and have promised with President Zelensky, they will bring like nuclear missile rocket into Ukraine. That's why Putin got angry. And then if NATO will do it, plan, they will bring those rockets for nuclear weapon, like May. Then he stood up before NATO doing it. Those two reasons he has. It's very logical or rational, right? But to do so, he tried to stop, and so went to the south part and the east part, that along with Black Sea, Black Sea,
Yeah.
and then try to occupy those. Otherwise, NATO will bring the nuclear weapon rocket. So that was planned. Then, so President Biden promised with Putin, America will never support Ukraine, but they break the promise, right? And then that's happened behind the scene. If you read a newspaper from non-NATO countries, it's clearly says, except Japan. Okay, so, but even after the collapse of the Soviet Union, NATO continued to grow to this date, and even tries to expand further. So President Putin expressed his concerns and warned them that Russia will take action if its expansion continues. Okay, you understand now? Okay, this is the reason. So that's why Masaoka says, like this one. Honestly speaking, I don't think that President Putin has gone insane. He's thinking very logically and rationally. He's mentally still fit. But it's clearly Mr. Biden, who might be a bit senile. So I am afraid of what he might do. For example, he said, we will become a neutral, but not neutral now. Okay, like that.
Yeah.
And also, he promised the Taiwan people, we, America, protect your country, but other, other military people and government people try to cancel it, his words. It doesn't mean like that. So the Mr. Zelensky is not senile, but his intellectual level might be questionable.
Absolutely.
Not sufficient. Mr. Zelensky probably believes that what gains more media coverage and audience ratings is right and accords with justice. So, like a comedian,
Yeah, it's put on the
100
show.
people support me.
Yeah. The
So-
Zelensky show.
Yeah, that's it. This may be right according to business in mass media, but it is different from the true justice. True justice means intention and motivation. That will be asked. That becomes a cause, and that will become the result. So this is point. It is different from the true justice. The popularity doesn't mean justice. This is the second part of part 5. Okay, in the last part. This is also very important. I have never heard Mr. Zelensky talk about God, faith, or prayers. Have you ever heard about it?
No.
But,
Materials.
yeah, materials. Even the Mr. Putin and Donald Trump always says God, prayer, Lord, something like that. Okay, so Mr. Biden talk about fighting for democracy, but Mr. Biden also never mentions faith in God, which is the foundation of democracy. Have you ever heard about it? No, right? And then it's clear that he's not connected to any of spiritual beings whom we call angels, bodhisattvas, tathagatas, or yet higher beings in the Savior's world. Nothing, just ordinary person.
An animal.
And seems like according to Biden, some people say he's a good uncle. Maybe, but nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so he probably believes that the justice is what supported by the general people, same as Zelensky, right? Okay, popularity is a justice, and then he's at such a level. Some may believe that the justice is what is supported by many media, but just like the election, the media tend to support whatever they think the majority will easily understand and agree to. So yes, for the mass media, how many newspapers will be sold? That is a major concern.
Fundamental.
Yeah, or how much rates you can get through the TV show. Okay, that's why famous people appeared and celebrity who has no idea about politics
Yeah.
mention about something.
Yes.
Please support Biden like that. So they don't consider God's will at all. Yeah, I've never heard about it from the mouth of Mr. Biden or Mr. President, President Zelensky. This is a big problem, and it will be an extremely big problem in the future. All right, we need to remember that who can stand at the side of God. Now we will be required. We are small. We should be humble. Okay, then going to next one. Number 6. The standard in the spirit world hasn't changed at all. People say after French Revolution, the standard has been changed, but in the heaven, standard not yet changed at all. Okay, please listen to his message.
They think it is a mature way of living. Some may think that mature people look at the world as immature. However, the standard in the spirit world hasn't changed at all. Recently, we have published a spiritual message from Red Ogre. He says, I've been working as a Red Ogre for 1,200 years. But the laws of the spirit world hasn't changed. Even if you say you changed in the last 100 or 200 years, the spirit world hasn't. So you cannot make any excuse. This is very simple, but this is the truth. The spirit world hasn't changed. You cannot convince them. Some people believe that their lives in this world is their only life, and think that a good life is a convenient, fun, and satisfactory one in a materialistic sense. To them, such a life may be idealistic. When they are asked, if afterlife exists, do you think you are forgiven? There are many things that are not acceptable. I want you to know about this. We do mission work with bringing the books of truth to others. We often meet people who won't open up to you, or throw the book back at you, bring it and throw it away. It is very, very sad not knowing what is important and what is not. Many ministers and prime ministers, for example, have actually gone to hell. So the value judgment of the spirit world is different from that of this world. You must accept this. You are actually unable to escape hell. Some may see themselves as a great person in a worldly sense and say, I made life easier for you. I gave 100,000 yen to everyone to make them happy. I promised to give out 10 million yen for every child you have, so I've done good deeds. Whether this will lead to heaven or hell is another question. It must be judged in light of Buddha's truth as well.
Okay, thank you. Very short, but this is also very meaningful. So, simply because the standard in the spirit world hasn't changed at all. Even if they support the new life and enjoy the material life, the standard in the spirit world hasn't changed at all. Some people believe that their lives in this world is their only life and think that a good life is a convenient, fun, satisfactory one in a material sense. Don't you think so? There are many people who think like that.
Yeah.
To them, such a life may be idealistic. But when they are asked, if afterlife exists, do you think you are forgiven? That's why many people deny the afterlife. There are many things that are not acceptable. Things is, if you create an attachment to this one, that becomes a big problem. Because you will be bound to this earth. you cannot go to heaven. This earth has a big gravity for the people who have attachment to this world. But for the people who work for others and have no attachment to this world, they are very light and easy to go back to heaven without any attraction to this world. So this is the point. Have you had any attachment to this world, worldly value? That should be questioned. And then the value judgment in the spirit world is different from that of this world. You must accept this. So please check. This is the first point. Who run the spiritual sense, spiritual truth, whether you have attachment to this world or not. And then it must be judged in the light of Buddha's truth as well, or God's truth, spiritual truth. So very simple but profound. Okay. Keyword is whether you have attachment or not. Okay, last part. Finally. It is important to become independent and so on. That is why religion must be media itself. Means convey the truth by yourself, not rely on other power.
Today's lecture title, Be Independent and Strong, which I translate from the Japanese title. Being independent is an important thing to live as a human being. What does it mean to be independent? It means to do what you can do by yourself. Only when you've built your foundation and gained the strength to live by yourself, when you have a family and voice your opinions freely, when you are recognized as a responsible adult, your words will be taken seriously. I want you to know that this is the way the world should work. Of course, we have freedom of speech, and we must be independent to exercise this freedom. TVs now don't report about us at all. Some radio stations broadcast for us if we pay some money. In most places, they take up things that are insignificant and neglect things that are valuable. So we must do what we can by ourselves. As our religion must be media itself. We must be able to talk about our teachings, say what we want to say, and give opinions to the world on our own. We need such independence, even as an individual. If you want to teach others, you need to make enough effort to be able to confirm yourself that you are independent enough to do so. On top of that, you must be strong. I believe it is important to become independent and strong. So they have the power to suppress the political parties that call for tax cuts or call against dole-out policy. But in reality, I believe there are lots of wasteful actions. I'm sure there were lots of waste in the COVID measures they took. These things are not investigated. They made excuses saying it was the side effect. There are many cases of death and after effects because of that. They conceal all these things. They deny its casual relationship and conceal it all. So what I mean by independent is for each person to think about how to manage their work to keep it going. You must not live beyond your means. You must not be pretentious. Mr. Biden and Mr. Zelensky are both pretentious. They're pretending. I believe so. You must face reality and be realistic. And know your limits. It's important to know your own abilities and work within your limits. Cut back on meaningless things and focus on important things. Use your money effectively on things that will potentially develop in the future. Survive this period and be able to continue working longer. These are the important things to do as a human, as a family, as a company, and as a nation. We're at a crossroads now. This lecture is being broadcasted live to 3,500 locations around the world. But sadly, the viewership won't reach as high as TV shows do. It will take several months to reach people all around the world. For the people in Mongolia, we need to screen this lecture under a tent in a grassland. It's not so easy. But I will continue to do what I can. I'm still unable to change how the entire world works, but I will keep on indicating the right value judgment. The US has been suffering an inflation rate of 8.6% or more. Sri Lanka is at 60%. They are saying that their country has gone bankrupt. They've fallen into China's debt trap. China is cruel and won't help them. It's said that China itself has a deficit of 150 trillion yen. Many places will go bankrupt due to debt. To survive through these times wisely, we need great wisdom. And we provide such wisdom. So I hope the people who study happy science teachings will be independent and strong and go on to save the world. You cannot save people unless you are independent. Public opinion might say you don't need to be independent to save people. Don't be fooled by that. If the national budget requires double the tax revenue, it means half of the people are making the government spend wasteful money. So you must stand on your own feet. You must live strongly through these times. Japan must become a country that can continue to serve as the world leader even in the next century and onward. It must be a bright country that can rule the world. A country that will create new values even after the Western values collapse. That is what I wish of Japan. I ask for your continued support of Happy Science. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. This is the last part, but many points also. And that's why I made 3 slides, but within 5 or 10 minutes I will conclude this one. And then, what does it mean to be independent? That is a question from Masaru Okawa. Then, it means do what you can do by yourself. So don't rely on others. And only when you have built your foundation and gained the strength to live by yourself, can you have a family and voice your opinions freely. This is very simple, but many people forget about it. And when you are recognized as a responsible adult, your words will be taken seriously. That's why whenever you try to convey the truth, whether you are independent or not, a reliable person. So, and that is a very important point. I want you to know that this is the way the world should work. That's why this is kind of conclusion of his message. That's why religion must be media itself. If you are a very reliable person from the viewpoint of others, independent and strong, they want to listen to you. Otherwise, they might think, oh, that is the wonderful opinion. Or, like, hey, she's silly, talking about spirituality. So he's stupid, like that. And then, you are ignored or disregarded. But if you are very, very reliable person who are very kind, have like a shining light vibration, then they can trust you. Then if Mr. A or Ms. A said like that, maybe I need to think of that. So that kind of person needed. That is the meaning. That's why religion must be media itself. Because very blindly, people believe in the TV show, right? So the person who can sing a song very well, they can listen to him. Who can act like a good actor, they can listen to that. he's a very talkative, then you can listen to that. But how about you? How about others? So they don't listen to those people who are not famous, right? But if you have a great character inside, have a wisdom inside, they try to listen to you. That is a role of us. Religion must be made itself. We must be able to talk about our teaching, say what we want to say, and give opinion to the world on your own. Don't rely on mass media or something. We need our very famous people. We need such independence. Even as an individual, if you want to teach others, you need to make enough effort to be able to confirm yourself that you are independent enough to do so. On top of that, you must be strong because you must get some against from others and also objection from others. But he strongly stand up in front of people who have a different opinion. That's why we need to mimic him. Be strong. Then, I'm sure there were lots of them waste in the COVID. Right? COVID measures they took. These things are not investigated. This is the point you need to remember. Okay? They made excuses saying it was the side effect, but there are many cases of death and after effect because of that. They conceal all these things. You know that?
Yeah.
Conceal. Of course. They deny its casual relationship and conceal it all. All right. So, because mass media are supported by medical companies. Okay. Medical companies give big money as advertisement. Okay. Also, the world of the doctors supported by medical companies. Medical companies give benefit to doctors. That's why doctors also supported. And also lobbyists come from medical companies. You know lobbyists. Even in this country, Congress supported some lobbyists,
Yeah.
which include medical companies. So Mr. Biden and Mr. Zelensky are both pretentious. They are pretending like him. But you must face reality and be realistic. We are at a crossroads now. So be confident. You are smarter than mass media. You know the fact. Yes. For example, this fact, like side effect of the vaccine, and also other things. What's behind the scene? The NATO. What the real intention of NATO or America? You know that now. So through the wisdom given by Master Yuho, we can reveal the fact. So be confident. We are more than mass media. Okay. So we must face reality and be realistic. We are at the crossroads now. We can be a new mass media which can tell people fact, including a spiritual fact. Who can tell people so abortion is right or not, or what is the real meaning of the life after death, like that. Only happy science can tell. Even other religious people cannot do it, but we can say like that. And also, we don't say we are only one, we are number one, but we can become bridge between religions. So, new fact revealed by Master Yuhoka now. Please have courage. Okay. And this concludes today's one. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And from 10 past 5, we will start Zoom meeting. If you join, and you can learn a lot more, okay, through the discussion. Thank you very much.